Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic, host of Bachelor Nation News. Over the weekend, Michael A. and Clare Crawley had a little Instagram live where they ended up chatting for over an hour. Sometimes these impromptu Instagram lives can lead to much greater levels of tea, as there's really little pressure. They're just a couple friends talking. Everyone was wondering how much flirting was happening there. You guys know us in Bachelor Nation here. We like to put people together. We go, oh boy, this is great. They should be dating. They should be married. Why aren't they having kids? And they could just be friends. Maybe she's not into him. Who knows? Maybe they have something. He's in Ohio. She's in Sacramento. Got his kid in Ohio. She's got her mom she's looking after who's battling dementia in Sacramento. So clearly their lives just aren't quite overlapping, but they said some wild and interesting things that I wanted to get into. I made a video, as you saw right here. This was the video I made over the weekend, Forced to Return the Ring, where Clare talks about having to go back to LA to return the ring, plus talks about some other things. In this video, she discusses how she wasn't invited to the Men Tell All on her season. As we know, she left with Dale Moss of Dale Moss's Toes. 2-3 episodes into the season, Tayshia came in. She's no longer with Dale. Tayshia's no longer with Zach. Katie Thurston's no longer with Blake. There was a good moment there for about a year where everyone was happy and still together, and then it all kind of fell apart the same weekend I was in New York. Luckily, my relationship survived. I guess when you meet someone and spend years developing, how to communicate and things like that you can overcome things. But when you're thrown into the spotlight, a little bit more difficult. So let's hear what she has to say about not making it to the Men Tell All here.
We don't need to get into that. People want to know, are you dating anybody?
Not dating.
By choice. By choice.
What's she saying?
She's an independent woman, folks. She don't need no man.
I do need a man, but I'm not.
She don't need no man.
So he goes, you don't need no man. And then she goes, I do need a man. That might be the thumbnail. I do need a man.
In a rush for anything, and I'm having a really good time. I'm focused on work and business, and all the business stuff going on right now. This is crazy. So
what's going on at work?
I haven't talked about it publicly. What I'm doing.
Tell us, Claire.
Yeah, I love Ohio. And so people shit on us all the time.
Was it a reel about?
All right, so this quick clip I already played, but then the next one's right after. So just listen.
Girl talking about Ohio, you're all, ooh.
Come on now. I know that she was actually so sweet, Lindsay, because
of course
that's not what
Lindsay told Shanae, go rot in Ohio.
So funny.
At all. It was nothing about Ohio. But the thing is I was watching the show and I was like, The Bachelor seems like it'd be a really fun job. And then I was watching that Women Tell All, and the women were just going
shit like it used to be, for sure.
And I'm like, I don't know if it sounds that
That's
fun.
not fun at all to me. I don't even like watching the Women Tell All or the Men Tell All, to be honest, because it's just a bunch of it's rough.
It's rough.
And it's stressful. It's stressful. It's a lot of people airing out their stress and their frustrations, and it's hard.
So your season got cut short. Did you have to
You want to know something funny?
Men Tell All?
I was so excited to go to Men Tell All because I loved every guy there. I still think the world of every guy there. And so I was even when I left, we were all good. And even though it didn't look like that, but we were all good. And then, so I was hyped to go to the Men Tell All, and they didn't let me go to it. I don't know why. I was like, I'm ready. I want to go. I want to talk to these guys. I want to see them. And they would not. I didn't get an invite.
Wow.
You had your dress all picked out, about to walk out there looking banging.
Yeah, man.
And
I had to throw it back on the shelf and save it for another date, which is fine. I mean, can only do so much,
That's a crime. They said we
What do you think?
together. What do you think?
All right, so that's interesting. They didn't let her go to the Men Tell All. Of course, we know. I mean, it was a quarantined Men Tell All. It was stripped down. They didn't have all the men. Yosef was there. Chris Harrison tried to get Yosef to apologize. He was like, no, thank you. These were the days, folks, the mid days of the quarantine. Chris Harrison was still a host. Claire was still with Dale. It was a wild time. I asked Claire about her anxiety, because this is the most interesting aspect to Claire that I think is how she coped with her anxiety during her season. So I asked that question here. Let's hear what they have to say.
Yeah.
Dave,
Oh,
I
our
love
friend
Dave.
Dave Neals is on. Dave
Hmm.
is the best in the biz. Like,
He really is.
what a kind human being.
Jeez.
He
Thank you.
he actually gets it.
I do.
He says, "What caused the most anxiety
Your
on
season or
your
my season?
season?"
Claire's season.
I mean, I was just I was a contestant. You were the
I've been a
lead,
contestant.
hon. So I never had a
Fair
season.
enough. What caused the most anxiety?
Yes.
Is that what?
Hmm.
Truthfully, all of it. I think, as everybody knows, like anxiety is exacerbated when you are super stressed, when you have lack of sleep, when you're not eating right, and all those things were times 10. It was so stressful.
Mm.
So my anxiety was really, really, really high. And there was, I mean, I look back at some of the pictures and some of the footage, and I just am like, I look and I just was a wreck, but I can laugh at it now. But probably the most anxiety thing was night one. It was, first of all, at midnight, it was like 110 degrees outside.
Yeah.
And my dress was probably 30 pounds. And I mean, that could be off, but it was, the limo entrances alone were like 4 or 5 hours long. And I remember looking at the clock. I'd probably talked to 3 guys by 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And they're like, you have to talk to every single guy. Like, we got to talk to every guy. And I remember feeling like I
That's
was
giving me
sweating. I was
anxiety just
hot. I
thinking
just
about
wanted to
it.
like be naked and get out of my dress and be in my bed and asleep at 5 o'clock. But I loved meeting all the guys, but it was just like knowing that you are like, it just was so stressful. And I'm very shy.
Yeah. Was there a
Yeah.
time when that flipped, or you still carry the
It
same amount,
flipped.
like
There
to
was a
this
girl in
day?
high school, and she basically was like, we became somehow, after a while we became friends, and she was like, I remember her saying, God, you're so cool. I used to think you were such a bitch. And I was like, what made you think I was such a bitch? And she was like, well, you just are quiet and keep to yourself and mind your, like, and I just remember thinking, like, is that the energy I put off? And I
Yes.
think still it kind of comes off that way, even if I, like,
Introverts are
randomly
like,
people come up to me
yes,
in public and they'll be
resting
like,
bitch
oh,
face.
I'm sure they'll think Claire was bitchy, but it's more of like, I get really shy. Not bitchy, shy.
Yeah.
Very introverted.
Like introverted. And yeah, like, I mean, from the time we've been able to hang out, like, I
Yeah.
totally understand that now.
There it is, folks. So yeah, the idea that someone who's introverted is bitchy. Do female introverts get accused of being bitchy? Whereas male introverts, what do they get accused of? You know, everyone's different and everything presents differently. We've talked so much about neurodiversity on the channel. Not to say I don't know if introverted and extrovertedness counts as that. As I know, the basic definition of being introverted versus extroverted is that an extrovert gets their energy from being around others, while an introvert gets their energy from themselves, from having their own space. So if this is the case with Claire, where she gets her energy from being alone and she's forced to stand out there and meet 30 different men, I mean, this is an introvert's nightmare. Now, people might go, you don't look like an introvert. I think that's one of the bigger problems is a lot of introverts can sort of mask blending in with society. It doesn't mean that they can't meet other people or go out dancing or have a good time. It just means they're drained, emotionally drained from that. I don't know what the term is for like an intro extrovert, because I feel like I can get energy from being with others, and I think I can get energy from being by myself. I love to go on nice long runs by myself, and I love my alone time. I love driving by myself. I love these. I'm literally sitting here by myself. This is an introvert's dream right now. Until you get into the comment section, that's another story. But it's worth analyzing these types of things, whether you're a parent to an introverted child, or your spouse is introverted, or you are. How to cope. And Claire, from what I could watch from her season, was met with time and again where you could see her anxiety flare. Now, also, she says her anxiety was exacerbated by lack of sleep and food and certain other factors. She was in the hot desert in the summer. A lack of sleep will do it to you, folks. That'll make you say some things that that'll really put you in a place if you're not getting proper rest and food. We're humans. We need nourishment in our body. It sounds like you need to drink a lot of water. I mean, simple. Put on sunblock. Simple things that we forget about sometimes, and they lead us to be the worst version of ourselves. So when you see Claire, the one scene I always remember is when she sits down on the first group date and she's like, "Doesn't anyone want to talk to me?" And she kind of has this anxious moment that like the guys aren't paying attention to her. We don't know. Did she just sit through? Did she just have a panic attack while she was getting her hair done? Did the producers kind of goad her into something? We don't know any of that. And people go, "Oh, what a bitch." And it's like so simple-minded to think that way. So my sort of thought process, and I hope you guys can be with me on that, is to do a little extra work to understand why someone's feeling the way that they are. Be a little bit more compassionate to understand someone who's just being a bitch might just have a lot on their plate. They might just be a little stressed out. They might be a little anxious. And I think if we can learn the way other people kind of relate and tick, whether it's your boss or your spouse or your kids, I think we can live in a little bit of a more harmonious place, because then it takes the burden off of us to be offended by somebody else. My fiance relates very much to Claire. Good-looking woman who looks extroverted but really does get her energy from being alone. Like the idea of a perfect, day for my fiance is to sit in her room and watch Harry Potter movies while she makes a vision board. And God bless her for that. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? But then you get some Hufflepuff asshole over here. You guys get the point. All right, we're gonna be going live later on today. Patreon.com/Dave Neal for behind-the-scenes content. We're gonna have a public live when the Bachelorette releases the new Men of the Season. That's supposedly going to be coming out today. Either way, if that doesn't happen, we'll be live at 2 p.m. Pacific time. I'll talk to you guys then. Bye, everybody.